everybody, welcome. This is Wendy. Today I'm going to do a watercolor wash card for you. And I'm just starting out by using these inks. Excuse me, I'm using Bravo Burgundy, Delightful Dijon, Cajun Craze, and More Mustard. Bravo Burgundy and More Mustard are retired Stampin' Up! Colors, but you can still get them if you contact me, and I can search for them with my demo friends for you. So what I'm doing here is just squeezing the center of these ink pads and getting ink put in the palette so that I can do my watercolor wash. And on the paper in front of me, you see I have set up a piece of watercolor cardstock, and it is just taped down using blue painter's tape, and I'm just kind of getting my whole base wet before I start adding ink. And then as I add the ink, you can see it just kind of moves with the water, which is exactly what I want. And then I'm just kind of propping up this cardboard so that the colors will run together better. I am, as you notice, I'm sure, doing a voiceover for this video because my house got crazy and out of control and I just did not have time to record live. So every once in a while I have a video like this, and it's kind of fun. It's different, but it's fun. So this video starts out really awesome and my colors are blending great, and one disaster after another happens in this video. So you should find this video fairly comical because it just started becoming crazy after I finished my watercolor wash. So this is the best part of the video, so enjoy it because it's gonna get really bad. So I'm just continuing here to add colors. I'm adding the Cajun Craze down at the bottom, and just really adding it up there at the top near the Bravo Burgundy. And I really wanted a fall watercolor wash, something very warm feeling and fallish, and so that's why I ended up using the Bravo Burgundy, because it has enough orangey, reddish, and purple in it that it just really was the perfect color to use for this card. And then I will be heat setting this with my heat tool and going back and adding a little bit more color. I'm just cleaning off my brush here and getting ready to do my heat setting. I start to close up my ink pads and then I realize that's not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set this, and then I'll be back. And I am now deciding that I needed more Bravo Burgundy down in the lower part of this card to kind of even out what I did at the top there. You see that really dark streak of Bravo Burgundy. I like it a lot, actually, that really dark spot running through, but I felt like it needed to be evened out. And of course you're seeing my hair in the video. That's just awesome. I hate it when that happens, but sometimes you have to get right over the top of a card to see what's happening, and so that's what happened there. So I'm just continuing to even this out just a little bit, and then I'm happy with it, so I'm cleaning my brush again, and I will be heat setting this again, and then I'll be back with you. So now I'm just peeling the painter's tape off to go ahead and finish out this card, and I'm just going to set aside that cardboard. This is actually really pretty just like this, but I went ahead and I'm going to cut it down and do something different with it. So after I get my water out of the way there, I should be ready to cut. So I'm using the new seasonal frame thinlits, and this is meant to use shaker cards, but I just love this rectangular shape. It's like the perfect size, so I'm going to use that to cut out my watercolor wash piece, and just kind of moving it around to get it exactly where I want it, and then running it through my Big Shot. I am using the magnetic platform here, and that kind of just helps suck everything down nice and tight so that I can run my framelit through really easy. I love the magnetic platform. It's just so awesome. You can get that from Stampin' Up, and you can get it in my online store if you want. You'll want to check out my website today, my blog post at loveandstampin.com, because I have over there a blog hop going on, so you can check out my team members' cool stuff as well. So I'm getting my Misty here, and I'm going to do some stamping using the Thankful Forest Friends stamp set from the holiday catalog. And here begins the problems. They just start here and it just continues on for the rest of this video. So I get it put down here and you're thinking, okay, this is great. And I'm using my embossing buddy to just make it so that my embossing powder doesn't stick. So going good. And I get it laid down. And then these super strong magnets that come with the Misty get stuck together. So I start doing everything I can in my power to get them apart, and they are stuck so strong that I'm afraid that the spatula is going to slip and cut into my finger or like go under my fingernail or something. So right here I'm off camera trying to get them apart, and then I'm back and I'm still trying to get them apart. And then I realize at some point, oh, if I kind of just scooch them apart a little bit with my fingers, then I could probably get the spatula in between them. So that's what happens there. So I love the Misty tool, but those magnets are stupid strong. Like, they are so strong, it's a disaster. So right about this time, here's our next disaster coming up. Right about this time, my daughter's puppy is playing with her in bed, and we're trying to get her to go to sleep. And so my husband starts getting upset with the dog, and all this stuff is starting to happen in my house. But you don't know any of that because I'm just sitting here recording this video for you, and you can't hear it. So right here I'm masking off this image so that it says thankful for you, and I'm masking off the pine cones and the other little swirly stuff. And I'm doing pretty good considering all the stuff that's happening in my house that you have no idea is happening right at this moment. It really is like a crazy thing happening. My husband's watching Rambo while my daughter's in bed, and then the dog starts in, and then it's like mayhem, right? All you know what is breaking loose in my house. And I'm in the middle of recording this video, so I can't do anything to help the situation except be stressed out. So I stamp my Versamark ink here. I ink up in Versamark, and I'm all excited to like do this card. This card's really been on my mind. And this is where I make my first mistake. Watch what I do. Yep. Just went ahead and stamped it with my white paper on there. And you see my hands. I realize what I've just done. So all of that ink that was all over those white strips is now on that card. Yep, that's what I did. Super awesome. So I'm sitting here for a minute because I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Should I just scrap this whole thing and start all over again? It's late at night. I'm tired. There's still mayhem happening and I can't decide what to do. So what I'm doing right here is I'm holding it up and I'm trying to figure out what can I do to salvage this card, because now I have Versamark ink in places it shouldn't be. So I take new pieces of Post-it note paper and I cover up the Versamark ink that wasn't supposed to be there. So that where the white tape was from the stamp, I cover that up because I just recognize if I just cover it, then I can go ahead and do my embossing and it's going to be fine. So that's what ends up happening, is I'm covering it up now with this paper and trying to salvage this card and this video at this point. I originally was going to cut all of this out of the video, and then I changed my mind because I thought, you know what, this is real life and I want you guys to see what I go through sometimes to record a video. It's so ridiculous. So this is my gold embossing powder from Stampin' Up. And right now, okay, here's the next disaster. There is no spoon in the embossing powder like they're supposed to be. So now I'm going off camera trying to figure out where the heck is my spoon to this embossing powder. I end up opening up my crushed curry embossing powder and stealing a spoon from that one. And hopefully I'll be back here in a second. But I'm panicking at this point because this is like one disaster after another. First, the ordeal with the Versamark ink, and then now I can't find the spoon, and as you can see, it's taking me a while to do that. So I find the spoon, and I add my gold embossing powder, and it, it goes on very nicely and I don't have any problems. And so when I pull away the white Post-it note tape, it has salvaged my card, because where it was going to get powder all over it, it hasn't. So I was really excited about that. So I'm just cleaning up the edges here with a brush that I always have on hand to clean up my embossing powder edges. And I'm blowing on it to try to get it off. And so I'm doing that, and then I'm going to go ahead and heat set this, and then I'll be back with you. So now you can see it's really beautiful, this gold embossing powder on this card. And I really liked it in person, but the more I looked at it, the more I just didn't feel like it was dark enough. So what I did is this is the wonderful thing about the Misty tool. You can just go ahead and stick your cardstock right back in where it was, put your magnet on it, and this time I am going to cover up again where I had before, and I'm going to add my Versamark ink. I'm going to stamp in my Versamark ink, and this time I did good, and I remembered to peel off the white tape. You'll see that in just a second. And I thought to myself, peel off the white tape, peel off the white tape, peel off the white tape. Kept telling myself that. So I do peel off the white tape so that I don't end up with Versamark all over the place again. And I stamped again, and this is where it's really awesome that when you make mistakes, sometimes they turn out to be really, really cool. So I've stamped it again in Versamark, and I'm going to emboss right over the top of where I've already embossed. And so this time I'm embossing in early espresso embossing powder, which is retired. So any brown embossing powder would do. And I really had no idea how this was going to turn out. At this point, this card was a Hail Mary. I mean, I was just doing whatever I could to save the video, save the card, so that I would have something great to show you guys. And it really turned out to be awesome. So it was a huge blessing. So right here I'm just cleaning up again like I had done before. Now what's cool about this is I embossed gold underneath this. So now I am embossing in early espresso, which is a dark brown. So when you look at the card in person, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see it in the video, when you look at the card in person, there is this really cool gold embossing under the brown, and you can see it around the edges, and it's beautiful. So it ends up being a really awesome look, and something that I'm going to be doing in the future for sure, because I absolutely love how it turned out. So after I've got it all heat set, I'm going to show you. You really can't see it here, but oh, right there you kind of could. There's a very light gold trim kind of around the brown embossing, and I love how the brown embossing turned out. I'm just finishing up this card here by using a crumb cake note card, and I love those because they're already pre-cut, and I just had to trim it down just a smidge to make it fit. And at this point in this video, I'll just be honest, I was completely wore out because I had had so many interruptions and so much happening, but I just was not going to give up. I wanted to get this video out for you because I loved how this watercolor wash turned out. So I'm adding a bunch of dimensionals here to the back. Anytime that I use watercolors, I like to have a lot of dimensionals because the watercolor paper tends to crinkle a little bit and bow and change shape when you put water to it, and there's just really nothing you can do about that. So I put lots of dimensionals to try to hold it in place and make it look good. So I'm just peeling off the backing of those and adding it to the front of the crumb cake. And I just felt like the card needed one last little thing after I was all said and done. I just loved the wash, but I still needed one more thing. So I went in search of some gold glimmer paper, and I had none. So I told you, one disaster after another with this. So I had no gold glimmer paper on me, but I did find a piece of retired champagne glimmer paper. So I ended up using that to finish this card off, and you'll see that in just a minute. I used the little heart punch from, I believe it's from the Itty Bitty Punch Pack, and I'll put it on the screen here so that you know what it is. And I I ended up using that and punching a piece from my champagne glimmer paper and adding it to the front of this card. And hopefully I'm getting around to doing that sometime soon here. So anyway, I just, that's life. Life happens. Sometimes things go really smooth and perfect and wonderful. Sometimes they don't, and you just have to go with the punches. I really wanted to get this video up for you. And there's the paper. I really wanted to get this video up for you because I did not want to give up on the watercolor wash that I loved so much. I loved the colors. I loved how that turned out, and I just didn't want to give up on that. And so here you're going to see I cut a dimensional in half, put it down, and I realized that a piece of the dimensional was sticking out under the heart. So to pull the heart back up, pull the half dimensional off, and I grabbed the other half that I had cut and put it down. It's just like, you know, a continuous run of errors. So that was my finished card, and I really loved how it turned out. Thanks so much for stopping by. If this is the first video you saw from me, I'm sorry. Bye-bye.